Hey everyone, welcome back to the Learning Lounge. I'm
Trust me.
Chuks. Today's topic is too juicy to skip. We are talking about the truth and the learning style, myth or science. Let's go. Welcome back on today's episode. If you are just joining us now, we are talking about before the break, the truth about our learning style, whether myth or science. Okay, here is the idea we have heard. Some people are visual learners, some auditory, some kinetic, and some on. Basically, the claims is if you teach me in my style, I will learn better. Sound cool, right? Almost like a Hogwarts sorting hat, but for education. It's just like, first of all, let's just start by breaking it down. Like we have the three main type of learning style, which is the kinetic, which is the visual learner, and which is the auditory. And let's start from the visual learners. The visual learners are the kind of people, the kind of students that learn through what they see. Just like if you have been joining our previous episode, we have been talking about places that is nice for some schools to make provision of videos like television where students can be able to watch sometimes, like probably after, during written notes or teaching, all those things. At least give them some break to watch some certain little kids program, just like for nursery sections. Some of them basically like learns from what they see on the television. That's what we have to talk about the visual learners. Those are the kind of visual learners we have. They are the ones that learn, like probably like for example like mathematics. They are the kind of students that learn mathematics in color coding. They are the people that understand through videos, through diagram, through anything that they see. And we also talk about the auditory learners. The auditory learners are those learners that listen to their teacher, that pays attention in class, that they are well, like they are all smart. All those type of learners, they are all smart. But these auditory learners are the kind of people that listen to their teachers very well. They pass through their exam basically from when they recall what the teacher was saying. They basically pass their exam from what they recall when the teacher was teaching on the blackboard. The discussion, like in the podcast, like in the radio section, all these things, they memorize very well. They are very, very good at that. And another one is kinetic learners. Kinetic learners are those type of learners that learn with when they move, with things that they move. Just like, for example, you learn very well in the science lab when you do the practical by yourselves. Those are the kind of kinetic learners. So everybody have their type of learning ways. Just like me, I learn very well when I watch. I'm using now of the visual learners. Novels that I learn very well when they even turn it in films. They are not stupid turning some of their novels in films, because people tend to rush more to the films than the novel that the reading ones. It's not everybody that knows how to read. I'm not saying that it's nice, but you won't blame anybody that doesn't know how to read. But they tend to understand well when they watch it. They tend to understand well when they see it. They tend to understand well when they touch and feel all those things. Make use of all those practicals. Make use of all those experiments. That is in their way they tend to understand. And you will not blame them. Point of view in this discussion now is, what does science actually says about this type of learning skills? Okay, let's just be true to ourselves now here. But here is the truth in all these aspects. Science really doesn't even back up all these type of learning skills up, because researchers have also found out that why people may prefer ways of learning, it doesn't mean they actually learn better that way. And just like, for example, you just say, let me just give you an example in what I mean by that is in a way like, okay, you say, okay, now I'm a visual learner. I'm a kind of person who is a visual learner. Okay, cool, right? But trying to learn French now, looking at a picture of a corsage, staring at a picture of that won't magically make you to start speaking French. You have to learn, you have to listen, you have to speak, and you have to be practicing all the time for you to be fluent in speaking French. Those are the kind of things that science are telling us, that it's a way for someone to be able to learn. That will be auditory. That will be auditory, as in learning, listening carefully, paying attention, and also making more practice in every time in our learning skills. I'll give you an example now. Italians, you just get a picture of a pizza. That's one thing they know about Italians. They like pizza very well, and they're very good at making pizza or pasta. Or staring a picture of it or staring a video of it won't automatically make you learn how to speak Italy very well. You understand? You have to learn. You have to constantly watch the speaking, watch, as in probably, let me just say, the film, or listen to Italians language, practice, and also pay attention in whenever they are teaching, or in any way you get yourself they are speaking it. That is a way that you also learn some of all these things. And in my own point of view, I'll just say that's science on. Okay, the next question here is this. As I say, but why is the mint way of learning more popular than ever or anything? So let's just be entirely true to ourselves here. Is in that aspect of ways of learning, why people still believe in that kind of learning styles simply is because it feels good. It makes us feel unique, and it doesn't give us any excuses when things don't go well with ourselves. It's easier to say and do. Like, for example, you saying you bringing back a child, bringing back its result at home at the end of the term or at the end of the semester, and start giving excuses to the parents why he or she didn't do well in the examination, or why he or she didn't pass very well in some certain courses or in some certain subjects. You will see the child giving excuses by saying, okay, mom, dad, why I failed this course is not because I didn't read. As you can see, you saw me reading all through our period of our examination. It's just because our teacher didn't teach in the style that I understand. The teacher didn't even show me some of the things that most of the exam that he set us wasn't even what he taught us. Seriously, the teacher taught all those things, but probably because the teacher didn't use the visual style, which some students that's their way of learning. They need to see some certain things. You need to teach them in some certain aspect. You need to show them the equipment, or teach them why they are doing it by themselves. That is the way they were able to learn. Because you didn't teach them that way, that's why during the examination, all the whole thing that you have been saying, all the whole thing you have been discussing, all the way you have been teaching, you have been talking from probably morning to afternoon, the thing didn't enter well. It didn't sink into them. That's why during the examination, they will just be confused. Let me just use that word, yeah, confused. They won't be able to understand most of the question, whereas they were being taught of that. So, in this aspect, teaching a student, teachers teaching student, or lecturer teaching their courses, it is very nice in a way that you will use all these three learning styles: the visual learning, the auditory learning, and the kinetic learning. In this way, when you are teaching with all this learning style combined together, in that way the students will be able to understand what you are saying, even when they forgot some of the words that you were saying. But remembering how they were using their hands to make some equipment, or using their hand to mix some equipment, or remembering some of the images, because images tends not to leave the brain, if I can understand. Like somebody like me, who, if I kind of see some certain things, I hardly forget about those images. So those images tend to sink into the brain, and during the examination they will be writing based on that image. Even they don't get the full mark, at least they will get half of mark of what you ask them. So that is why I'm saying we should just combine all the teachers and the lecturers should just combine all these three types of learning skills and use it in teaching the student. I guess very much they will be able to learn, and they will be able to be doing good in the examination. you are just joining us, we have been diving into a discussion of the truth about some of the learning styles that we have, whether by means or by science. We have been discussing many topics, and I feel that my people here and my family here, they have been enjoying all this topic. So the one that we have now is what actually works for people. That is a question that I would like everybody to dive in with. What actually works for you? Let's not just worry, but in that aspect, it's not all bad news. The fact that learning isn't just locking yourself into a box. It's about using some right tools and some right ways for each subject that we do in our basic life, and for some students as well. Just like, for example, mathematics. You need to practice, you need to solve, you need to go over again, do some more and more practice, more and more solving before you can be able to get and be very good in mathematics. So another one is like history now. We need reading, lots and lots of reading, rereading, storytelling, and also most of, like just say, documentaries. If we can have to watch more documentaries in whether in YouTube or in any other platform, it's very good for anybody who ventures in history study. And another one is sports. You got to do. You actually need to do it. You actually need to do it. Constant doing. Constant doing. Like football, you have to be going for football practice all the time. Like swimming, you have to venture into swimming all the time. Like running, you have to be visiting the track all the time for it to be for you to master it, for it to be part of you. These are the type of learning skills. And here, what science say really like kind of says or recommend in all this type of learning is spaced repetition. Spaced repetition. Review all over and all over and all over again. Retrieval practice. Retrieval practice. Test yourself. Don't just read and reread and reread and reread, and also active learning. You need to engage in very more active in learning. Engage yourself with some materials. Practice more with some equipment. Maybe invite some of your friends or invite some certain people. Engage yourself. Ask yourself questions. When you read, you ask yourself questions. Do constant practice. In this way, like I said previously, if you're just joining us, maybe you have missed our last discussion, you have to engage yourself in this three type of learning: the kinetic learning, the visual learning, and the auditory learning. Engage yourself in the three of them for you to be perfect in anything that you want to venture in this learning type of skills. These are the ways, and these are some certain things that some student doesn't engage themselves. They kind of focus on one aspect. They kind of focus themselves on one individual aspect type of learning. And in that way, they will not be good in some of all this learning. Let me not just base it on the student, also the teachers who teaches the kids. They focus on type of a learning, kind of learning a teaching skill. Combine all these three type of learning skill. Will be good for the betterment of the student that you are teaching. In that way, they will be perfect. In that way, they will know what they are doing. In that way, they can be able to remember it whenever they ask them any type of question, whether in class or in school or in outside there. Because some of all these things that we are being taught, or some of all these things that we learn based in practical, those are the things that most, like the high institution ones, those are the things that they learn in school that they will use to go outside there in the field and practice it. But constant writing on the board, constant reading, and constant all those things, it doesn't work that way. Practical makes perfect. When you practice more, when you do it more, those are the kind of learning style that you will get, that you can be able to go outside there and fight and do it perfect in the market sectors and also in the field. Just like a student who is studying engineering course, there is no amount of theory that will make that student be an engineer. There will be no amount of solving that will make that student be a very good engineer. But constant practice, take them to the lab, take them out the field, take them to places where they will be able to see and feel the things. Try it by themselves. When they make mistakes, they tend to learn. It is good for someone to make mistakes, because when you make mistakes, that is the way you tend to learn. If an electronic engineer or a power, because in engineering course, in electrical engineering department, they have two sections: power and electronics. Powers are those people who venture into the field of working with the NEPAs, climbing poles, going through the transformers, going through high tensions. But why electronics people are those people who tends to work with some certain cars, like automobile, electronics, ACs, all these gadgets. So when you bring some of all these things during the teaching, when you bring all these things when they were still in school, and they make use of it and they see it and you teach them, tell me, why won't that person do good when that person leaves school? Same goes with kids. You teach them with based on some certain things, with some certain apparatus, some certain equipment. Bring it to them. Allow them to control it by themselves. Be their guardian. Allow them to feel. Allow them to learn by themselves. Allow them to place it in order with cubicles and every other thing else. In that way, they will be perfect. Tomorrow, you will see that child laying those cubicles by alphabetically or by numbers, ascending to descending order, and they will be very good at that. These are the kind of learning styles. It's very nice. We should combine the three styles for us to be very good in what we do, and for the student as well. Okay, welcome back to our episode. We have discussed a lot of topics here, and we are about to close it up now by asking ourselves, what's the bottom line in this learning style? Whether by mint or by science. Is it just more than mint, or is it just more than science learning? Don't box yourself in this by saying, I can only do this way, I can only do that way. Try different approaches, mix it up, and match the strategy with the subject. Don't just dwell on one type of learning. Don't just dwell on one type of style. Because when we do that, we tend to lag behind, and we tend to not do good in our examinations. For the students and also for the teachers, we should mix all these three types of learning style when we are teaching these kids. I won't say when we, because I'm not a teacher, but I'm speaking on behalf of in every aspect, both the student and the teacher as well. I'm just speaking in general. We are just having the conversation of the way that we can be able to do good for all the students, because I remember myself as a student not too long ago, barely like 4 years ago, how some different type of learning affected me, because I feel in my own way, being a visual learner, that I only get it whenever I watch or whenever I feel the equipment or anything, and I feel like, okay, I have to dwell on this because I learn very well, and I see myself lacking behind. I see myself not doing good during the examinations. I see myself not being perfect in all those things. That is why now that we have this opportunity, that we kind of make more research, read more, and do some gathering, and now find out that when we gather all these three types of learning, that we will do good, that we will do very, very nice. So in all these ways, what definitely are we now going to recommend, or are we now going to speak on? We are going to speak on, and I will say, for me, we should try and mix all the three learning style and see what the outcome is. When you do all this, when you mix all these three and then see the outcome, if you feel like it's not working for you or it's not good for you, then maybe you should just try the one that is good for you. Maybe focus on the one that is good for you. But I advise, if it's left for me to speak for other people, I feel like we should mix up these three learning style. It's very nice. It's very, very good, because I'm also, as I'm telling you people, my family, as I'm discussing this with you, I'm also educating myself, and I'm also going to try and put myself into it. And I have even tried putting it. That is how I gather all this research. That is why I gather all these words that I'm putting out to you all, because I have also venture myself into auditory learning style as well, by reading, by listening to more podcasts, by listening to more YouTube styles, and I see it's really turning out perfect. So I plead and applaud that you should try all these things. So I feel like we have roasted all the whole topics in our ways that you guys have understand. Let's just keep on holding this fort. It's just me holding down for today. And I would love to hear, I would like to know your comment. I would like to hear your idea. Have you ever been told that your learning style, it's favoring you or what? Or did it actually help you, or is it just another level people have been just putting out there? Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and share this video. It's been a lovely time discussing on this thing. It's always the Learning Lounge with Chuks and Livia. Until next time, let's keep learning, let's keep growing, and please don't try to learn physics on a trampoline. So avoid what I know. Thank you very much, and thank you for joining today. Bye.